I'm a Medium, Ask Me How was not filmed in front of a live studio audience. We best friends, but we love talking about dead people. We're gonna laugh and we'll cry. Well, Dana's gonna cry a little bit.
We got love bombs all over the place. And let's not act like Matt isn't gonna cry a little bit. But we're also gonna cuss. So if that doesn't resonate, turn the fuck around.
Yeah, we're gonna drop some fuck bombs.
But we also want to share our experiences and knowledge about mediumship.
So sit down, get comfortable, and remember,
you are the light of 100,000 suns. You are the light.
And enjoy.
I'm a medium, so ask me how.
Dana Willey.
Matthew Tao.
Hola.
Hola. Is this in Espanol?
No, but I just wanted to mix it up.
Okay.
Throw something out there.
Bueno, queso.
You don't know Spanish, do you?
No say.
Okay. All right. No mas. So Dana, I was doing something the other day and I was like, you know what? This would be fun to play with Dana because I know our friend Hannah loved to play games. And I'm like, let's play a game on the podcast. Let's do it. Oh my God. This is in honor of Huggable Healer on TikTok. So I love this deck. And I think when we had gone to Sedona, we had talked about this mediumship training deck by John Holland and Lauren Rainbow. And you can buy it on hayhouse.com. It is really fairly cheap. And it is just a fantastic tool. But what I want to do with you today is I want to play a game.
You want to play a game?
It's kind of like, Bible dipping where you open up the Bible and you go boop, and then you just talk about that word. Well, we're going to do that with the deck. So we're going to call it deck dipping today. And we're just going to shuffle a card and we're just going to ask each other mediumship development questions on how it works for us, or like maybe some best advice for our listeners on what they can do to develop on these topics. What do you think?
Well, I love playing with the deck,
Mm-hmm. You love big deck energy.
Mm-hmm. See, I like to play with my deck. I like to smell my deck. I like to handle it sometimes with two hands.
Sometimes you like to fondle your deck when you're alone.
Yeah, or with others.
You dirty Curdy. All right.
Where's your brain? I'm talking about this.
Okay. So we're going to do this. I know. Well, I'm a dirty Gertie. All right. So the Divine Source. That's the card I got. So we're going to kind of play this in a little bit of a different way where what do you think, like, what is your take on like God? Like, what do you think it all? What does it all mean, Basil? I know in a very quick, small.
Very quickly, I was raised Christian. So I went to church and everything. And I believe in Jesus, and I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but I always felt like there was something bigger than the God that they taught about at church. Like I always felt like, why would somebody in another country who doesn't believe in Jesus not have like the same access? I didn't quite understand, even at like, this is me as like a 4-year-old or 5-year-old. Like I always had this bigger awareness of like the one or this greater source or power or whatever. So for me, like I've just always had this awareness that there's just like, whether you call it God, source, divine, whatever, I've just always, from as long as I can remember, just known that there was something bigger or greater than what they were teaching me at church.
Gotcha.
How about you?
That's good. For me, what's really funny is I was having a moment the other day when I was watching TV, and I really feel that like we are bigger. There's something bigger out there. And if you need proof of something bigger, think about like evolution and the way that we as creatures want to duplicate to make our own genes move forward. We want to go on, right? We want to continue our DNA to the next level and the next level and the next level. So there's a need to survive, right? Where'd that come from?
Mm-hmm.
That is a value of life. That's showing that the life is so valuable and so precious that we have to duplicate ourselves to copy ourselves to move forward. That came from somewhere. So I really do believe in God just from a like a instinctual level that we need to value life to then in turn continue on, right? And that started at the birth of our planet or the birth of the universe. So I believe in God just from science, right? And I feel like it is something that's instinctual that we all know. I think going back to the history of man, there's been repetitive things of talking about ghosts and spirits, and we have this concept that there's something greater than us. So then why not believe it? But I don't believe one is correct over the other, right? I think that God is all of us at the same time
I love that.
through our own experience. And especially on the other side, you go to a collective, you go to a great source energy. And I believe that when we're talking to your loved ones, we're talking to an aspect of God, because I
Mm-hmm.
believe we're like fractals of him or her or they or them. Because I don't want to give a binary label to it, but I think that we're all part of it. Every breath that we take is part of it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I've got a really good one.
Okay, go.
Let's get grounded.
Oh, Dana.
You know that's perfect for me. I
Mm-hmm.
love where does grounding matter for you in mediumship?
You know what? I think just being human. I think kind of not being a medium all the time and just doing something that I love to do for myself, and enjoy the things that I like to enjoy, and taking that time to be selfish really gets me grounded. And I feel like if I don't get that, I really become super ungrounded. Like if I can't just sit and swipe on my phone for a little bit, I get really ungrounded. Or if I'm not outside taking a walk or going to the gym, oh, the gym is so grounding.
Mm.
I love the gym. If you take the gym away from me, I get so sad. Like I get anxiety if I miss it, and that's not an addiction. That's just my time. What about for you?
Well, I think, well, first off, I want to give homage to you because they're the best piece of advice you've ever given me is, Dana, it's not healthy to talk to the dead all the time. And
Mm-mm.
that we are first and foremost here to be human. And so being grounded in mediumship for me is a couple of things. First off, we have to have awareness of who we are as people so that we have awareness of when we do have spirit coming in, that we can tell the difference. Because if we don't know who we are as people and what our own energy feels like, then we can't have awareness of what subtle information spirit is giving us. So it really benefits our mediumship from that perspective of knowing what our own energy feels like. Self-care, the better that our cup is full, that we have that we've taken care of ourselves, the better equipped we are to come to this work when it is time to do so, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we are here, I call it Earth School all the time. We're here to be human. We're here to live human lives. And while mediumship is one of my most favorite things about what I do, it isn't the only reason why I'm here. And to have friendships and relationships and to do physical things. I love working out too, um, just not treadmills. And but I love being out in nature, and I
It's a
love
slippery slope.
Yep, I love, watching a funny TV show and laughing and just remembering the aspects of being human because we are. That's the one thing from speaking to the dead as much as I do is they remind me how quickly time on this earth goes away, and so to
Mm-hmm.
really enjoy our time here. So it's important to be here.
Is it bad that I watch so much TV that I feel like I'm living through others?
I mean, you've made me watch more TV.
I know. I think you're on Wednesday right now.
Yes, I started watching Wednesday.
Yeah, it's good, right?
It's very cute.
Told you. I told you. All right. So my card is be of service.
Mm.
So how are you in service of others?
I think a big way that I am in service of others is, I mean, anytime, actually, like doing a lot of work on TikTok of like just doing free readings, holding space on TikTok. A lot of that stuff is ways that I'm in service because I just do it. I don't do it for money or for
Mm-hmm.
any other reason, just than to hold space. I look for opportunities as well in just life to hold space and be of service uh, to somebody. So if I see somebody
Mm-hmm.
out in need in the world, like how can I do something in this moment to help that
Mm-hmm.
one person? Um, and I think it's important. I think and it's not just money, right? I think it's
Yeah.
sometimes our time is a beautiful thing that we can give to be of service. How about you?
Yeah. The development circle is probably how I try to be in service, right? So like teaching quality mediumship, teaching and giving feedback that they need to hear, not that they want to hear. That's
Hmm.
sometimes being in service. Uh, but really just trying to be a support, trying to be a better friend uh, all the time. I think being a friend is harder than it looks to most people because, I mean, we talk to
Especially
dead
when this
people a
is your
lot.
friend.
Right. But being a better friend, and also being a better you to be in service of others, right? Because you can't pour from an empty cup. So taking care of yourself. But really just, I think it just comes second nature to us because we are in service of others all the time, that we just try to help as much as we possibly can. So that's my answer.
Yeah.
Um, what did you get? What's your next card?
Oh, this is like the perfect accent to that last one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moments of gratitude. How do you work in moments of gratitude into mediumship?
I just try to be humble,
Hmm.
right? I think when we bring humility to it, I think that it really kind of solidifies how much we are grateful for every moment, because this can get taken away at any moment, right? So like I'm talking about not mediumship, but your life. You can go at any time. So I think saying how much you appreciate people while you have the option to do it, how much you love somebody in the moments that you can. I think even having difficult conversations is a way to show gratitude, right? Because you appreciate somebody so much in your life that having difficult conversations is sometimes necessary to move forward in that relationship and not be complicit to things that are making you either unhappy or difficult. And that can be gratitude. And I think I pinch myself every single day of how lucky I am to get to do this podcast with you, and how much I value our friendship and how much I value where I am at, because coming from nothing, and I can say that of having a very poor childhood, having a lot of abuse, when it's good, it's good. And realizing that even if you are having this bad time, or you're going through a difficult time, or you weren't given every single option, like other people sometimes are, and it could be as simple as things as having dental, or knowing where your next meal is going to come from, or if the lights are going to be on, that if you just know where you came from and you get something small, it is the best thing that's ever happened to you. And it can just be something small as like somebody giving you a toothbrush, or a place to stay, or a shower, or having a room when you have no place to go. But when you have the things that you worked hard for, it means a lot more. So just trying to stay humble into that. I think I just went a little too deep on that
No,
one.
I love that. That's part.
But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. What about for you?
Well, I'm going to shift it a little bit more towards mediumship for a moment, because I think, first off, like having a moment of gratitude within the reading space. Whenever I end a reading, I always thank who I'm reading for. Like, thank you for the honor of reading for you, but also
Mhm.
thank you to the spirit world for letting me hold that space. But I also want to talk about this in the space of development, because I think we're always like focused on a destination and not appreciating the journey. So having
Mhm.
moments of gratitude of like knowing how far we've come. And so instead of being like, I want names, I want dates, appreciating like how far you've come, and having moments of
Mhm.
gratitude of like, look how far I've come in my development, and look how far I've developed. So
Mhm.
having those moments of appreciation of where you are, instead of always like trying. I'm a girl with goals, so I appreciate it, but always always,
I'm a girl with goals.
and you know this is my business partner and best friend,
Uh-huh.
but always having a moment of appreciating exactly where you're at, and not always
Yeah.
trying to rush forward, but appreciating your moment.
Being present. I love it.
Being
Dana Willie.
present.
Practicing patience.
Whew, I mean, I just said
slapped
it.
you. Slapped you real fucking hard, didn't it?
Patience is hard. I mean, I just spoke about that a little bit, because I think we try to, I mean, it's a little bit of our culture, right? Of wanting
Hmm.
to get to that next thing of like, I think one of the big questions that I always get is how long does development take, and how long does this take, and whatever. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like it takes as long as it takes, and
Yeah.
being patient and enjoying the journey and the process, and not trying to rush anything. And knowing that you're exactly where you need to be for a reason, and that you're in the struggle you need to be in because you're learning something and growing from it. So, not trying to rush through it, but sitting in it for a second and being patient with yourself as you learn and grow through it. Because if you try to rush through it, you're going to be faced with that same situation again. So, really sitting with it. Why is this here? What am I supposed to learn from it, so that you're not really approached with it later on?
You can't bypass the hard parts.
Mm-mm.
Just know that. You can't bypass what spirit will have you do it, because you have a pre-planned way that works for you, and you can't bypass that. So have patience.
Yeah.
Patience, my son. Patience.
Patience.
All right. Ooh.
Spirit communication process.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so my secret spice is I always establish who they are at the party. So I always
Yes.
pretend that I'm meeting somebody for the first time at a party. And what do they make me feel like? Who were they? Who the fuck are you? Who are you? Because I really feel like the spirit world really likes to honor who they were overall. And I don't like to ever hang up on their death. That doesn't mean that I don't get death details.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to establish my connection of being like, let's make a friend. Who are you as a core person? That this person that I am going to communicate to knows who you are, undoubtedly, without a shadow of a doubt, that you're here. So let's get all that personality, the way you stand, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you say your ahs. Maybe if I'm Boston, you skip the ahs. But I want to know who you are as a core person.
Mm-hmm.
What about for you?
Oh, I love that you said the cocktail party, because that's because I always want to explain to people that it's like getting to know a brand new person for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we first get to know somebody for the first time, it's not like, "Hi, my name is Dana," and you know their whole life story in 2 seconds. It's a gentle, like, getting to know somebody. So, um
Mm-hmm.
I also, I throw out, and this might be over the head of some people, but like I like to throw out the cert process, or like
Mm-hmm.
interviewing spirit. I like to just I always explain it as being just an open vessel or an open cup. That I'm just like, I know that you are so intelligent that I am just going to be open to whatever you're going to give me, because I know that
Mm-hmm.
you are going to give me the perfect piece of evidence, the perfect thing for me to explain or to give to my sitter, that they're going to know exactly who you are. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to like, I need to know your death. I need to know this. I need to know that. I'm just going to be an open vessel, and I am going to be open for whatever experience you're going to give me. And this was a big unlock for me, because if you know me at all, I'm a control freak and I'm a Virgo. And I wanted to like have my mediumship be like this very cookie cutter experience.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized was that no mediumship reading is ever going to be the same. Ever, 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 ever. Every sitter is going
Mm-mm.
to be different. Every spirit's going to be different. And the combination of those two is really going to exponentially just throw it out the door. So I just threw out all, and this is where my surrender came in. I threw it out, went full surrender, and I'm just along for the ride. And I am just going to be the vessel. So whatever you need me to say, whatever you need me to do, I'm just along for the ride. And that was a huge unlock for me.
And it also helps get you out of your mental mind and your active mind of what you feel every single grandma is like.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we're all different, and so they are they. They're not every grandma on the other side is Jimmy Louise Cupcake, Illinois, likes to bake pies, likes to wrestle alligators. No, like it's not one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
So when you approach it like you're meeting a different person every single time, you're going to get the most amazing evidence, and it's going to literally land a majority of the time. I mean, you're still human, you're going to make mistakes, but what's possible?
Mm-hmm. That's
I
possible.
guess one of my grandmas was not so friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you told me that my grandma baked pies and that she loves me, I'm going to be like, you don't got my grandma.
That is not the one.
Wrong grandma. The other grandma's alive. She does like pies and she is friendly, but she's alive. Um, so yeah, I think there's a lot that goes into the way that we connect. And I think every medium connects in a different way that's beautiful for them. I think that we just need to relax into it.
Relax. What
I
you
got
got,
a good
Matthew?
I got a good card, clairsentience.
Ooh, it's our favorite.
It's my favorite Claire. It really is. It's my favorite
Yeah.
Claire.
Well, we often say that feeling is the language of spirit. And
Yeah.
very often we all kind of come. I always say that everybody has every Claire. And if you're new to all of this, Claire is the fancy word of saying how we perceive information from spirit. So
Mm-hmm.
some people may walk into their development very strong in seeing or very strong in hearing, or they just know things. When you add in clairsentience, which is clear feeling, and you accentuate your visions, your hearing, your knowing, your taste, your smell with the feeling, your mediumship will explode.
Yeah.
Explode. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And it is honestly my favorite Claire. It's my gut check, for a lack of a better
Mm-hmm.
term. It's my gut check of when I know that something, that I've hit something correctly, is my clear sentience will grow. I will feel it in my body. It's also how a lot of times I know how I'm given cause of death. I
Mm-hmm.
will feel it in my body. It's how I know emotion. Like I get
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed. Those love bombs that I love to talk about, that's how those love bombs come in. That's how I get to pick up their personality. It's my favorite, Matt.
Yeah. It's empathy. Spirit speaks in feeling, right? But mm, I'm gonna just play like a quick dumb question thing. When you listen to music, do you not get emotionally moved by it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you eat something in the comfort food, right? They call it comfort food because when you taste it, you feel something. When you are hugging somebody, you get an emotion in that touch. Or if you like the feeling of like a soft blanket or a kitty, you get an emotion. So that is the emotional reaction that we try to build. And I always now I think I'm realizing something, that when the power builds, we're building the emotion. We're not building an actual power. We're building the spirit world that's full of emotion and they're flooding us with it. Right. And so when we use our clear sentience as a gut check and we understand that being like, oh my God, I'm seeing this heart and this heart's making me feel like this person would be born on Valentine's Day. And I feel like it's a birthday and it's giving me this emotion of celebration. And I feel joyous about this. Do you understand this? My birthday's on Valentine's Day. I'm just saying, but that's factual, but it's backed up with something because spirit is going to be like, yes, 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 right? So it's the best Claire that you can develop. If you are not Claire sentient, you are.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of those that will just automatically, and I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to get in trouble. It is a Claire that you don't need to develop because you are human and you should have some sense of feeling, right? But it is something that you can work on to become more empathetic. So if you are feeling like you have some emotion, because we all have emotion, some of us don't. I mean, I think what is that? There was a mental disorder where you don't
There's
have
yeah, there's
emotion.
there's mental
Lack of lack of
yeah.
yeah. That is uncontrollable. Okay, so I don't know where I got off track here, but I want you to really just think about and putting yourself in other people's shoes. If somebody is having a bad day and they start yelling at you and they go Karen into you in public, think about what's going on in their life. Put yourself in a scenario of being like, maybe they just found out they had cancer, right? Build your vocabulary around the empathy of others, and your clear sentience will also flourish as well. Of taking a moment instead of having reactive, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Watch a lot of, try to steer away from things that are jarring.
Mm-hmm.
Like I also noticed that like as I developed my mediumship with my clairsentience, I can't watch certain things because it just makes me feel like really terrible, or I cry about stupid stuff now. But really, it's building that awareness around others, because when you realize that they are just going through a moment of life, it kind of connects you in this very deep emotional way of that you are. It's just an extension of you. You're an extension of me. I'm an extension of the spirit world. We're all connected, and we're just going through moments. And I think that really kind of went for my mediumship, clairsentience.
Clairsentience, my favorite. Blending with spirit.
Oh, baby, trust, baby. Oh, I love blending with spirit. I love doing it. And you know how you do it? Nose. Yeah, just develop your nose. You'll blend more with spirit when you know what your yeses feel like. And as you start to get more yeses, it will start to get more intense and the blending process will start to get more deep. And also, if they show you how they stand, or they show you how they talk, or they show you how they carry themselves, do it. Do it, because then they're like, oh my God, I'm getting closer.
Yep.
What about for you?
Well, I would say that too. I love the mannerisms thing for sure. One thing that I would say to all those developing mediums out there, you can definitely do this during sitting in the power, but also play with this at any time that you want. Ask them to step away from you and then step closer, and then step away and step closer. And so that you can feel what their energy feeling closer to you versus further away. And then just play around with that a little bit, because you have an energetic, your aura, that they are blending into your aura, into your energetic field. And so as you get comfortable with them blending and getting into your energy, just play with that a little bit. You can do this with your spirit guides. You can do this with spirit that you are reading for or whatever. But as you're developing, start playing with this a little bit. And I think that will build your comfort level a lot. But it's a really important thing as mediums that we get to do.
Yeah, Dana, you just wrapped that up so well.
I know. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Dana Willey, this was a fun little short. Okay. We're going to do a part 2.
Yeah.
Because the card that I got is in a whole episode by itself.
Which
Spirit
is?
Guides.
Oh, that is a whole episode.
I pulled this card. I was like, no, we're not going to talk about this in a short amount of time. So thank you so much for playing this game with me. And I love doing this. And this was so fun.
This was fun.
So
we'll do a part 2. We'll do a part 2. We'll have to remember which cards we picked so that we don't pick them again.
I already, while you were talking, I was pulling mine out so we didn't have to double dip.
I'm not that smart.
I was like, okay, all right. So yeah, thank you so much for doing this with me. And for the viewers, you can, like I said, this is the Mediumship Training deck from John Holland and Lauren Rainbow. We are not sponsored, but we encourage this in case you can't go to a development circle. This is something that you can actually use to, have a little development by yourself. And so I always recommend this training deck, and they are very user friendly. Dana, do you have anything?
They have like what's really cool is they have like a little description on the back, and what I always recommend is like journaling. Like pick one a day, read the back, journal on what it means to you as a self-discovery.
I learned in a really weird way that I did journal with these, but what I did is I would write down the back of the card on a separate piece of paper in my journal, and then I would go over and do like a practice, because for some reason, just repeating it back was easier to maintain, and that worked well for me. But you play around with this deck. This deck is phenomenal, and it doesn't get enough love. So once again, it's a Mediumship Training deck from John Holland and Lauren Rainbow, and you can get it at hayhouse.com or Amazon.
Yeah, we'll put the link in our bio. And we love you guys. Check it out. Matt, you should probably do something nice for people. And maybe everybody else should do something nice too.
Yeah, everyone should do something nice for somebody and live your best life. Oh, and Dana, you are the light of 100,000 candles in somebody's window at Christmas time. You are the light.
You lit up like a Christmas tree. Love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Love y'all. Bye.